This is BBC Radio Leeds. It's very nearly 5 to 9. Let's finish by the breakfast show, that is, by talking about an interesting play which is being staged in Leeds next week. It's called True Colours. It's on at the Carriageworks Theatre and explores some difficult issues through its main character, Albert. He is a retired miner from Dewsbury. He's old and he's a bit bitter after his wife dies following a mugging. He's also racist. So when he gets a care worker who is Asian, things get a bit tricky. Adam Hughes is here. He wrote True Colours. Morning, Adam.
Good morning.
Good morning. Some real difficult themes to get to grips with here in terms of writing, isn't it? I guess you have to tread carefully.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think how we've done that though is, like you say, it is about Albert, and it is kind of what I'd call a realistic story. So it's the issues, how they arise on the home front, as it were, so how they exist in everyday life. Because for me, racism is a bit more than the EDL marching in the street. That's an extreme example, but rather it's more nuanced, and I don't think people realise what attitudes they might have until they're actually confronted with certain situations, like Albert is.
Are you almost hoping that people like Albert might come and see the play?
I think likes a strong, maybe understand him, because that's what the play's about, seeing it from both perspectives. And Junaid, his nurse who comes in, he has similar prejudice against Albert, which I think is very interesting. But as the play progresses and we see these two men actually have a lot in common, Junaid finds his own prejudice questioned as well. So hopefully people can, as I say, see it from both sides and almost empathise in a way, because Albert has been through a lot and there is a reason why he thinks this way.
Yeah, and it's easy, isn't it, to say about somebody, oh, they're old and they're racist and therefore they're stupid.
Yeah.
But I guess it's exploring that there are reasons why people think the way they do.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you find yourself in quite a tricky, situation if you're calling somebody racist or ignorant or whatever, but then you realise there's a story behind it, because then you almost become as ignorant as them, if that makes sense. So hopefully what the play will do is it tries to show both sides of the story, but at the same time really make the audience think, maybe even question their own attitudes and own prejudice if they exist.
All right, and without giving away too much of the story, can you give us an idea, an insight into how Albert reacts when Junaid turns up for the first time?
Well, when Junaid first turns up, he's appalled, really, because, as I say, an Asian man mugged his wife and he always blames him for her death, and he reads the Daily Mail, he's that kind of character. He thinks, he calls a spade, and his community, because he lives in Dewsbury, it's changed a lot over the past 50 years, so he just completely repudiates Junaid, doesn't want anything to do with him, but he needs help. He's got a bad hip and he really needs help. So it's kind of how they're brought together in spite of one another as opposed to because of one another. So through Junaid physically helping him, he almost mentally helps him as well to see the world for the different place that he thinks it is now.
And have you met a real life Albert?
I've met several Alberts, yes. So it's some of it is from my own experience, but again, I've seen it kind of from an insider's point of view, because I've seen some of the reasons behind why the Alberts are the way they are. So it's very interesting. Hopefully the play explores that side of it as well.
Good to talk to you this morning. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
That is Adam Hughes, the writer of True Colours. It's a play on at the Carriageworks Theatre next week.